speak a kind word. Know that gentleness, brotherly love, patience, fellowships, graciousness, the kind word, are the fruits of the Spirit. Kind words, gracious words, never lose their power. They may be deflected by hate and malice, injustice and the like, but they spring ever anew, as hope in the human breast. A kindly word quieteth much, while an angry one stirreth up and maketh afraid. The kind word turneth away anger, while quick, passionate appeals stirreth up anger. The kind word, the gentleness in manner, the activity in association makes for hopefulness and helpfulness in the experience of those whom the body meets. Know that gentleness, brotherly love, patience, fellowships, graciousness, the kind word, are the fruits of the Spirit. And they beget in the hearts, minds, souls, of others that which makes for the strength in body, the purposefulness in mind, the abilities in purpose, in person, to meet the needs to carry on. It is only the little things that build in the heart and soul. Just the kind word, the gentleness of manner, the meekness that gives peace, the patience that maketh for the soul's happiness in his ways. As he gave, they that give a kind word, that may become as a cup of water to a thirsty soul, shall in no wise lose their reward. Gentleness, kindness, patience, as ye have had to learn, are not hard in him, only when ye lose thy hold on his promises. He that would despitefully use thee, a kind word is as mercy. As ye would have mercy, show mercy. Take time to be holy. This means to find time to speak a kind word. He that gives the kind word, even when coals of fire are heaped upon the soul, shall be recompensed in saving not only self and the growth of self's own soul, but many another. Not some great deed, but rather just being kind one to another. For, as he went about doing good, so may the kind word turn away wrath, so may the gentle look quicken the heart of the sad and make for the awareness that God is in his holy temple in thee. For thy body is the temple of the living God. The law of the Lord is perfect and converteth the soul of those that would listen. Not in some deed of valor lest some would honor themselves, but rather in the kind word here, a word fitly spoken there. For here a little, there a little, and the growth is from within, and will shine out to those, if ye do take him as thy companion. As is builded in the conscious mind of those about the entity, as in the conscious entity itself, if there are not those encouragements from thy friend, if there is not a kind word or a smile, thou dost indeed feel that something is amiss, something is awry. How well, then, those that have named the name, those that would know the Lord, smile. For what else in God's creation can? As self is lost in doing his biddings does the faith grow, for growth is made through the exercising of, the losing of, self in him. In him, then, as we see the attributes of the Father in the daily walks of life. By faith a cup of water given brings its reward to self, and quenches the thirst of the thirsty. By faith a kind word brings that joy to the one spoken to, and to self that knowledge of, in his name. Not that it brings to self as a reward, but the reward is as of that brought to self by the act. Great difference! In what way may body be of most benefit to others? This would be as of schooling self, but would be well for the body. In little things, in little favors, in little kindnesses, in little deeds, that takes thought, time, and action. No matter who, where, or when, just take time to give the other fellow a thought, as to what his needs are, also assisting same to be accomplished in the mental being of the body. It doesn't mean giving things, but in the application of a thought expressed, of a deed that will make for a favor, a kindness, and kind words spoken. Such may accomplish for the body more than all the treatments, will it be carried forward. Show thyself worthy of acceptation to him who will guide thee in thy daily paths, in thy daily choice, as in teaching, as in ministering, as in giving those gentle and kindly words. Not some great deed, not some great mission, but the greatest of missions, just being kind. Speak gently. Smile often. Let the love of the Father through the blessings in him shine in thy life day by day. Then the clouds of doubt will dissipate, and the brightness of the Christ consciousness will give thee purposefulness in all thy dealings, and his blessings will be continually with thee. Be kind and gentle. Remember, the soft word turns away wrath and it brings joy. The kind word, as ye have found in thine own experience oft, has made the day much brighter for thee. Make many days brighter for others, and in making them more and more in attune with love, patience, long-suffering, gentleness, and kindness, you will make for thyself a surety in those things that take hold on peace, harmony, and joy. These should be a part of thine experience ever. The entity throughout the experience then gained, for its service, its activity, its gentleness in the material surroundings, were well done. Though he was only known as the lamplighter, yet many of the kindnesses, many of the gentlenesses that were shown to the young and the aged, and many of the kind words spoken to the awkward and the wayward brought into the experience of the entity joy in the inner self, and allowed for the expressions in the attempts for the depicting of life in all of its various phases and experiences. How may I develop a spiritual consciousness, so as to make emotionally mine the belief that the so-called dead are alive, that my loved ones are near, loving me and ready to help me? Know thy ideal, in what thou hast believed, and then act in that manner, ministering to others. For perfect love casteth out fear, and fear can only be from the material things that soon must fade away. And thus hold to the higher thought of eternity. For life is a continual experience. And thy loved ones, yea, those thou hast loved. For what draweth thee nigh to others, to do a kindly deed, to pass a kindly word to those that are disconsolate, those that are in sorrow? It makes for a bond of sympathy, a bond of love that surpasseth all joy of an earthly nature. The entity may speak to those who open the door of a morning, whether it be to the cage or to the street, in such a manner that the whole day is brighter because of a kindness expressed. Would that men, then, everywhere, would learn such a lesson! Then, in this era, this age of changes being wrought, it behooves the entity, as everyone, in its relationships in any manner, to impress upon others in every walk of life, not impelling by force, but by love, to try God, to listen to the voice within, to open self to the love that is manifested in gentleness and kindness, and not to the lust for power nor to what others may say, but rather keeping in that attitude which he expressed in that period of manifestation when he said, "Others may do as they may, but as for me, I will serve a living God, not one far off." As is oft indicated through these channels, individuals should, as this couple, work towards a oneness of purpose. This is indeed a couple where in purpose, in ideal they are one. Hold to this above everything, grow together, unfold in thy study of spirituality, of spiritual things, of God, of God's relationship to man, of God's hope and promise in man and promises to man through the example of the pattern given in Jesus the Christ, the man who became the Christ. As each entity, each soul is desired of God, that it becomes such that it may be companionable. Encourage such in others. Not that ye go out and pat everyone on the back, no. Not in act nor in words, but help individuals to help themselves. See, as ye oft do, that which is good in those who are materially, mentally, or even spiritually ugly in their relationships with their fellow man, with themselves or with their Maker as individuals. See the good, see the possibilities, see the opportunity for thee to say a kind word. Kindness, gentleness, patience, persistence should be the watchword for each entity. If we would have beauty within our lives, make our lives beautiful. If we would have beauty in body or mind, or soul, create that atmosphere, and that which brings about life itself will bring those forces. For the spirit is willing, the flesh is contrary, as well as weak. In the spirit is strength. Give that strength as an opportunity of manifesting itself in thine life. As it is manifested in the lives of those whom the entity contacts, for the kind word turneth away wrath. Even as the haughty look, or the unkind word stirreth up and maketh for troubles in the lives of many. Make thine life beautiful, and it becomes more worthwhile. Only when one has lost sight of self, in the appreciation of the love, beauty, and hope in the creative forces and their activity, may one indeed know happiness. That which gratifies only the sensuous self, or as an aggrandizement of physical pleasure, rarely brings happiness. Out of the dregs of same may grow happiness, but in themselves they are only passing. To illustrate, the road to Gethsemane, to the minds of those who look upon their own Gethsemane, was as a road of thorns. The perspiration, the sweat of blood, and all appear anything but happiness, yet the kind words spoken, even on the way to Calvary, were indeed those that brought happiness. What might one who reaches the point of realization of his presence expect as a result in their daily life and activity? The consciousness that he often walks and talks with thee, that his promises are ever present, not retroactive, but very active in the causes of the actions in the daily life. That there is the abiding hope, and not the doubts nor the fears that make men afraid. Not that makes for faltering steps, but rather the joys, the pleasures and service. Even though it require that there be yet greater and greater sacrifices of the carnal forces within our own experiences, rather, the all, that I may know more and more of the joys of his service. The service may not be rendered to self, only to another, and he that serves, either in the kindly word, the kindly thought, the kindly deed, is lending to the Lord, is giving of himself even as he. Regarding mental and material, I request through you one thought designed to assist in my efforts to raise above the personal concern of life. Let that mind be in thee that the application of the abilities of self in the material, in the mental and in the spiritual thought, be above just for self. Let the purposes ever be no day without a kind word, a thought of another not in as good circumstance as self. This ideal set as the standard and measurements of self's application will build a consciousness of creative forces in the individual as to bring an expression of this influence in the life. Let thy mind and thine body efforts, all of thine energies, be that there may be a greater service to thy fellow man. This will bring the consciousness of that ye seek. Study to show self-approved unto that thou dost hold as thine own ideal. Knowing that not of self art thou able to accomplish but very, very little, all that thou may accomplish of a material nature changes and fades day by day. But that thou hast sown, that thou hast given in the fruits of the Spirit, or in the line of the fruits of the Spirit, grows, and becomes a part of the own soul's self-development. So a kind word, a hope that is given to any soul under any expression will finally find fruition in the experience of the individual. First, as was seen in the priestess in the Atlantean land, as the body physical or the body mental allows itself to be more and more, as it were, charged and recharged with that Spirit of the Christ, or the One, in and through itself, and in the material things only the little things count, a kind word here, a gentle hint there, being happy and joyous through all of those things that may arise in the experience, will make the growth that brings healing in the presence of the entity. For when the face of him that is life has shone upon and through the lives of individuals, it becomes as life itself. I want to serve I am in the best way possible, and any help along this line will be followed implicitly. What shall I do? Interrupting this, as we have indicated, is to be achieved day by day, here a little, there a little, line upon line, precept upon precept. Not as rote, but rather as a living experience that becomes so much the portion of self that it is felt, seen, known by all who may meet the body in its daily activities. A kind word, a gentle speech, even under the most trying circumstance, creates not only for self that attunement but makes same for others, or makes others aware of same. This may be illustrated to the conscious mind by how the radio may be changed high or low, or to the perfect accord, and thus bring a unison that makes for not only perfect reception but perfect reaction upon those affected by same.